and El Cid. The book, like the film, can be enjoyed even by football-phobic mystery fans who don't know their Arsenal stadium from their Elland Road. This is because Gribble switches suspicion quite effectively between members of a small group of people who might have a motive to kill the victim, a businessman and notorious philanderer. For the modern soccer enthusiast, part of the fascination of the story is that it shines a light on the beautiful game during a very different time. Long before Arsenal finally decamped from Highbury Stadium and marketed the naming rights of their majestic new ground to Emirates Airlines. It was an era where the central conceit of the story, that a team of English amateurs could compete on more or less equal terms with Arsenal, did not require excessive suspension of disbelief. Indeed, Bernard Joy, Arsenal's centre-half, who appears in the story, was a schoolteacher by profession and the last amateur to play football for England's national side. In 1939, the idea of footballers becoming pampered multi-millionaires and football teams being so dominated by overseas stars that the ruling bodies would find themselves forced to legislate to require a minimum quota of homegrown players in each club squad would have seemed absurd. In the age of Twitter frenzies and blog tours, it's tempting to assume that an unashamedly commercial approach to marketing a book is a modern phenomenon. But the Arsenal Stadium mystery is an example, and by no means the only one, of a Golden Age detective novel that benefited from a shrewd and imaginative approach to the business of bookselling. The page facing the first page of Chapter 1 was even devoted to facsimiles of the autographs of the Arsenal players. Much of the credit for this was surely due to the author himself. Leonard Reginald Gribble, 1908–85, is not perhaps a name to conjure with, although it prompted the distinguished critic H.R.F. Keating to feature him in an essay about prolific crime writers titled Scribble, Scribble, Mr. Gribble. Certainly, Gribble's fame does not match that of illustrious contemporaries such as Agatha Christie, Dorothy L. Sayers, or even Freeman Wills Crofts. But he was a capable writer with a highly professional approach to his craft, and he knew how to make the most of his talents. Born in Barnstaple, he started publishing detective stories. The first was The Case of the Marsden Rubies, 1929, in his early 20s, and kept writing for rather more than half a century. A hard-working author, he produced so many books that he found it necessary to adopt a host of pen names: Leo Grex, Sterry Browning, James Gannett, Louis Gray, Piers Marlowe, Dexter Muir, and Bruce Sanders. Although his main focus was on mysteries, his varied output included westerns and non-fiction. Gribble's energy matched that of another highly prolific novelist, John Creasy, who established the Crime Writers Association in 1953. Gribble was an obvious choice to become a founder member, and he and Creasy became good friends. The Arsenal Stadium mystery remains his most celebrated book. Ironically, the government commandeered Highbury Stadium during the Second World War, and Nancy Frost, daughter of one of the club's directors, Ralph Fielder, recalled many years later watching home games at White Hart Lane, the ground of Arsenal's rivals Tottenham Hotspur. She prized her copy of the first edition, which included a page of actual rather than facsimile autographs of the Arsenal team of 1942, with elegant calligraphy courtesy of Bernard Joy. In 1950, when he also produced The Kidnapped Stanley Matthews, featuring an English soccer legend, Gribble published an updated version of his most popular book, The Arsenal Stadium Mystery, a Replay. The first edition came complete with a wraparound promotional band bearing an encomium from Bernard Joy, who was by then a journalist, and is in itself now a sought-after collector's item. Both books have long been out of print, but the appearance of the British Library edition means that modern readers now have a chance to enjoy a slice of sporting nostalgia, as well as pitting their wits against Inspector Slade's. Martin Edwards, www.martinedwardsbooks.com. Chapter 1. History is...